So we're about to go. Okay. So you had a sneak peek of our little concern before we get to the right conversation, but this is it. We're going to get into convos real quick about dyslexia. That people think that dyslexia is like a disability. I would still maintain it's a unique way of living. It's a unique way of understanding things. It's a unique way of learning. And the earlier we realize that it's unique and treat it as such, the better. Because many people, great people actually, have had dyslexia. And I mean, it hasn't changed their output. They actually really even did better, right, than people who seemingly look normal. So today we're going to be getting into deeper conversations about dyslexia. And I know that you saw her last week, right? We have in studio Rosalind Abigail Chrenate. She's the founder of Africa Dyslexia Organization. Pretty lady right there. And then also we have, is this your first time in the studios?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So Fati Abubakar Sadiq, she is an inclusion specialist, a dyslexia advocate from UAE. Oh, all the way. All right now. See, because of that, that's why I thought that we were going to be online. I was just going to be like, oh, hi, how's
right
gold,
here.
how's oil doing? And all of that. Good morning, ladies.
Good
How are
morning.
we?
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too again, and good to actually finally meet you. So let's take this from the educational point of view. I mean, because you are in that field, inclusive education, right? So everybody feels, they are part of the team. How is that going? Blending regular students with dyslexia students for you?
I think we've come to a point where now it's becoming the norm.
Right.
If we look back before, accepting kids with additional learning needs into mainstream schools was seen as not the norm.
Right.
But now people are becoming more accepting, and from the point of teachers have now realized that it's not about the students that we dream of having in our class, but it's about the students who are right there within our classroom who have different needs, and how can we support all these different needs within our classroom. So I think we've come a long way. But
really? We still have a long way to go?
Yeah, we're getting there. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Well, for you, I know that you've lived through it. You're thriving through it. And it's like a victory torch for you. And every time, from the last time, anytime I'm looking at you, you're smiling through, you're like, okay, I don't look like the crazy I've been through, but here I am. I'm victorious and I'm great at it. How is it going for you, transferring that to younger people and to other stakeholders, in this whole community?
Yes, sometimes I just feel, I ask, for example, I ask God, is this what you really wanted me to come and do? That's why you gave me that experience, because when I speak to people who really don't understand, then you appreciate some of the struggle I have to go through to be on this journey. Because for me, my background is not in education. I'm a hospitality person. That's my profession. But reflecting back to my experience of being a child, not being able to read, process information and recall information and put it on a paper, and the damage that did to me, because people around me didn't understand and they just thought, oh, this is another unserious girl or lazy girl, and with all that humiliating, and to still keep pushing and be here today, I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to use my life experience to advocate and call for support and help for people with the same experiences that don't even know. Dyslexia is 1 in 5. And so the UK will say 1 in 5, 1 in 10, the US says 1 in 5. So even if it's 1 in 10, you are looking at 10% of a population having dyslexia. And so that means that in every classroom that we go, there is that child that is there who is muted, and the whole class is saying, yes, we understand the lesson. And these set of children are there and are like, I don't understand Jack. But then they are also afraid to say that I do not understand, because the moment they say that,
you're not smart.
You're not smart. You're lazy. Why aren't you paying attention in the classroom? Which is quite damaging. So you can imagine the emotions children are harboring. So for me to be able to even sit here with you and to raise that message out for parents to understand, like, just get the knowledge about it. Maybe your child may be going through this, or maybe your niece or nephew is going through this, or even at the workplace, maybe your mates, your teammates is going through it. So that kind of first-hand awareness, we really need it in Ghana, in Africa, before we even come to the intervention that support our learners. Yeah.
Wow, that's really beautiful. I like, where you ended. So today we really just want to look at, we know that this is a learning challenge or stuff like that, but children start to learn long before they make it to school. Children learn even things that their parents are not teaching or they're not speaking. They are learning things by action, by movement, and all of that. Children have access to maybe a church, a community, long before they make it to a school. So I want us to get into early signs. I'm a parent and probably just gave birth to a bouncy baby girl. She's not, giving me the vibe that I'm expecting to have. What are these early signs that parents, caregivers, guardians should start to look at, in children? Let me go with you.
Okay, I'm
educationist.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question. But before I touch on the early signs, usually we say dyslexia is about the reading, but there's so much more that goes into it, just beyond the difficulty with reading or the learning differences. So one of the key aspects of dyslexia is so we have our left brain and then the right brain, right? The left part is more for language acquisition, word recognition in language, our spoken language, and then the reading. And then the right side is more for the creativity and all the other stuff. Right. For the dyslexic learner, the difficulty comes with the part of the left brain that deals with phonological processing. So that's seeing the letters and then transferring them into the sounds, or knowing that, C is K, kind of. And then, so if there's a bit of a difficulty with that, then it affects the output, whatever the person brings out. So that's the main thing that most people are aware. But the second part that mostly we missed is the working memory. Right. So think of the working memory as our working shelf. So it's like a shelf within our memory, but it's usually for short term. So for the non-dyslexic person, you can hold about 7 books or 7 different information at a time. For the dyslexic learner, he can hold, say, 3. So when you're giving out instruction, you give 1, 2, 3. The shelf is already full. If you add another one, then one book has to fall down for the fourth one to fit in. So what does that mean? It means the first one has fallen down. So you've given an instruction. So they've already forgotten the first instruction you give because the memory is already full. But then within the classroom, teachers or even parents, they'll be like, how many times do I have to repeat myself? I've already told you this. But not that the child is not deliberately forgetting it, but the memory is already filled up. So this is something that we have to think about when we are talking. And then the last bit is the information processing. So think this also, it deals with our long-term memory. So this is more like a filing cabinet. Right. So if I asked you, if I say cat, you have to go into your brain to retrieve the image and then think of even the spelling of it. For a non-dyslexic person, you go straight into it, you pull it out. For the dyslexic learner, there's so many different pathways that they have to go through. So this process makes it so hard. So how does this look out within the classroom or even within the classroom. So a teacher is teaching, he says something, and then people have already responded, but the dyslexic learner is still processing that question within the filing cabinet, trying to pull that out. So whilst we've moved to step 2, some of the kids will just shout out their answer.
Right.
And the teachers feel like, why are you acting out? No, they've now gotten their information and now they're sharing it. So these are the major areas that affect. So it's not just the reading part. There's so much that comes into it.
Interesting.
And then, so this brings me back to your question.
Which I love.
So this has to be like the lens within which you look at dyslexia. And it's not just, it's not the reading, because some can read with the right support. They are reading, but they're still struggling in other areas of their lives. So that's something that we need to. So now in terms of the symptoms, I'll start with the early years. So we know, and one thing that also makes the language and the reading difficult is speaking is natural. I read something that everybody can speak, but not everybody can read.
Right.
Except those who have medical conditions that doesn't allow them to speak. But the average person speaks, but not everybody reads. And that's because speaking is natural. When a child, you just have to expose the child to the language and they will speak it. But reading, no. Exposure doesn't just let a child read. You need to systematically teach it. So in terms of the early years, one of the things you see is sometimes if the kids have delayed in speech, some of the signs that parents, so for some kids, they're delayed in speaking. And I know within our context, sometimes we're like, this is just a late talker or a late speaker. We like to say that. But sometimes not that just delayed speaking in itself says the child is dyslexic, but it's a sign to look out for if my child delays. So typically by the age of 1, kids will be daddy, mommy, they're able to say single words. By the time they are 1.5, they can say simple phrases, water, I want water, my sister. They're able to, so if you're seeing that your child is not really achieving that milestone, then it's a red flag at the back. What could be happening?
Right.
You know, as a parent, just a question of what could be going on with my child. And then the other thing is in terms of for little kids, is even before, one of the things that research is now showing is that before we used to think that we could only detect dyslexia when kids get to grade 2, grade 3, the upper grades.
Right.
But now research is showing that even though we can't diagnose a 4-year-old with dyslexia, we can screen and identify kids who are at risk of being dyslexic, and then provide the early intervention, just like with any form of, so even diabetic. If someone is diabetic, early intervention is the key thing. Right. So regardless of the condition, dyslexia or not dyslexia, whatever, early intervention is the key to that. And then another thing is, so now we're realizing that, it's not just, even before a recent research, even with one professor in Harvard, she was saying that they did a longitudinal study where they observed kids, even infants, you can tell. So now there's a lot of brain imaging, MRI, that they can scan to see, because the dyslexic brain looks different from the non-dyslexic brain. So they could be able to see some risk factors. And even at the lower stage, kids learn nursery rhymes. Mary has a little Humpty Dumpty. So if your kid at that stage is struggling with that, remembering their nursery rhymes, then it's because kids love the song. So it could be a red flag. So this is something that as a parent, you should be thinking, my kid, this is a song like they have to Humpty Dumpty, Jack and Jill went up the hill. And then letter sound. We all know that kids don't need to be in class to learn A, B, C, D. We all do that.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing is, if say a child starts singing A, B, C, D, and you stop them halfway and you ask them, what's the next letter? They probably have to go back again and sing it, right? But that doesn't really mean there's something going on, right? But what we can say is that if my child is struggling with their nursery rhymes, which goes on to affect their ability to learn their letter names, letter sound, which once they get to kindergarten, learning to write their names becomes a difficulty. So these are some of the early signs that you really
Need to look
need
out
to
for.
look out for younger.
Wow. That's big. So that means that you're not just a parent bringing out a child, but you need to be very intentional about certain things. Just to look at how long is it taking for my child to start to express, start to talk. So, and you said that we should be looking at a year and a half that's more like the grace period for the child to start to express in certain things, right? Basic things. So if after, say, 2 years, is that it? That's when we should start getting worried?
No, so there's no timeline. And
There's no timeline?
One of the things I say is parents, like we have strong instincts, like trust your instincts.
Okay.
When you feel, you will feel that there's something
wrong.
You may not be able to put your hand on it, but you would definitely feel that there's something. So just go to the professional. There's no harm in going and they tell you, oh, he's all cleared, you know. And before even you talk about dyslexia and all that, usually you have to make sure that their hearing is good.
Right.
So do a hearing assessment. If it has to do with reading, their vision is good. So all these have to be done before we say, okay, now let's look at other things that are influencing that.
I see. So this is it. The responsibility is big. We're looking at how our kids are, even relating to other kids, how they're able to pick things real quick. I know when you were younger, you were able to, nursery rhymes, rainbow, or rain, go away, and all of that. But if your child is unable to, say these things and have a difficulty in that, then you want to wake up. But let's get to the world of the child. I know in your opening statement you're talking about what you went through and all of that. Tell me what this does to the self-esteem of a growing child.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the first one. Thank you for the
Yeah.
So when Fatih was talking about the rhymes and all that, till date, I can't even identify any of the rhymes. I don't know them. Till date.
wow.
I am telling you. And so when I hear people rhyming or singing or whatever they do, I'm like, what are they? But I also remember they were taught in school. But I never got. One of the funny one is even when it comes to jokes. I will sit in the midst of people, someone will make a joke, and I'm the only one who don't understand what is going on. Everybody will be cracking up, and I'm sitting there figuring out what is going on here.
Because you don't get the joke yet.
I don't get the joke yet. And by the time I get, like she said, everybody had moved on. And I'm like, is that what it meant?
So do you get the chance to laugh all by yourself? Like you sit in front of the mirror, yeah, the joke is on them.
I don't even bother myself. Yeah. Because, you are worried thinking about so many things. As in, I'm not good. I feel like I'm different. Why am I not getting it? And they humiliate, because for kids that are growing and they have dyslexia, because their environment, nobody knows what is going on. Everybody is picking on them. So I am the firstborn. So my 4 other siblings will be compared to me.
Right.
Like, why are you like this and your siblings are not? And so that comparison alone is damaging, because I'm the firstborn and I need to be the one to model everything for
initiate things.
So now if my parents are being like, oh, you go and ask for maybe a new dress, and they're like, this is not what matters. What matters is you should do well in school and get your grades up. You might think these are just words you're saying to a child, but you know what it happens to them. It's damaged everything in them. And even as an adult, I'm doing very well in my life. But you know what I'm struggling with currently, even in my role as the executive director for this organization?
Tell me.
It's because when I was young, I was said no. No was said to me many times, asking, you want this? And they're like, no, this is not what matters. Go and learn. Or you talk too much, keep quiet and learn. So when I come to you right now, I don't know how to ask for help, first of all.
Right.
Because I know that when I ask for help, there are 2 things. There's one thing, not 2 things. 2 things is yes or no. But for me, I always pick up no and say that you're going to say no to me. And because I don't want to hear that no, I don't come to you. And what makes it worse is when I come to gather the boldness and I come to you, and this is me talking in my adulthood, come to you and say, hey, I need this support. And you turn me down, then I just go back. Yeah, you see, you're not good. You are not good. It's true. You're not good. But who says I'm not good? Because my parents and my school was telling me many times I wasn't good. And so still that thing is still lingering within me, and I am struggling with it. So I can probably sustain myself to be here. But another person will go into depression mode. And that will lead to
Something else.
And so I say that we should be extremely careful with our kids. And when you don't even know what is going on with that child, there are certain words you don't say to a child because it will damage them. And to repair is a whole lot of issue. So that's why we're raising this awareness. And once we are aware and the message is out there, we believe if you're an educator, today will be your end. From humiliating children, whether they are dyslexic, they are not dyslexic, you don't have the right to say any unpalatable words to a child. And parents also, I mean, you brought this child, God gave you this beautiful child. Your responsibility is to take care of them and not to damage their image, because we feel like, oh, I am it's my child. So yeah, let me do whatever I want to do. But that's not, the words you say to them can be quite damaging and can cause a great negative effect on them when they grow up.
Have you ever had friends that you fall on when you feel like that?
So when I was in JHS, I had only one friend, which was Anna Osebe. She probably will see this and laugh. She used to teach at the school here, in the action school here.
Oh, okay.
Anna.
Academy.
Yes, and Anna was younger, way younger than me, by the way, because I'm always like, I had like the grown up in every class I go. But Anna was brilliant girl, and she, I don't know if she understood me or she just she genuinely liked me. So she would be the one teaching me, where if we are reading the book, and, you know, they would do the paragraph. And so Anna and I would go to the back, and then we would count the heads and see, okay, this is the paragraph Rosa is going to be reading. And so Anna will start reading to me to know the word, so that when it gets to my turn, I don't disgrace myself. Guess what? It will get to my turn and I've forgotten everything Anna said. And I wouldn't be able to say. Another worst thing is she will, I mean, it's not good practice, but she was supporting her friend. In dictation time, she will make her this thing like so the book like this read. For me to see. And I have a problem with that as well. And even yesterday was happening to me, trying to copy one thing from a phone to another phone. So like I'm seeing and I just want to copy, like type it on this phone. I looked at that word like 6 times before I was able to spell the word. Because whenever I brought my eye here and I take it here, I forgot. And I go back and look. And so
that's
Anna,
what you were talking about,
yes.
Right? Okay.
So Anna will give me her book. He will do this and say copy. She will get 10/10 and I will get 0/10. Because by the time my mind went, everything has scattered.
Wow. What are you saying to your child? I think parenting starts from self. Because if you're unable to tell yourself good things, it's easier to transfer to others around you. And we're looking at children that probably the fact that they're able to call you mommy, you are not able to tell whether they have issues or issues that they haven't started to express themselves. You don't fully know them. So every word you say is a deposit into their lives. Now, at the cash out stage, the child could cash out depression, could cash out low self-esteem, or could cash out joy, or be bold. choice is yours as a parent. I'm leaving that for you, the parent, the guardian, the caregiver, right? But let's get back to interventions now. We're seeing early signs. Is there anything we've left out with the early signs?
So I wanted to add to what Rosalind said, especially, so we've looked at in terms of even the early signs, sometimes some of the kids mispronounce words. They say spaghetti and then they may say pasgetti. Specific, they say like Pacific.
Right.
And sometimes I sometimes feel, and that's one of the things that I learned, like living in the UAE, I kind of feel like sometimes within our context, like we say so many words to people without thinking about the impact that has on the person,
right.
And we laugh so jokingly about it, but it's not funny. Even within the classroom, like Rosalind said, she's struggling, and we can all remember that one classmate that we had that everybody always laughed at when they were asked a question.
Right.
We would all remember that, but the mental stress that the person even had to go through. Look at what Rosalind was saying before they were even able to sit up and even respond to that. It takes a lot. And sometimes that's why some kids with dyslexic kids have a lot of mental fatigue, because they go to school and they've used all their brain power thinking about so many things that we find so easily.
Right.
And then within the upper grades, sometimes the kids, they want to avoid the work. So some of them become the class clown. They will do anything to make everybody laugh, to waste the teacher's time, so we don't go and do the reading and the writing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we think it's funny, but that's their way of trying to avoid that. But some other kids on the other end of the spectrum, they're so quiet, they don't cause trouble, and we miss them. We feel like, oh, she's a good kid, she doesn't cause trouble in the class. But then internally, there's a lot that the child, so like Rosalind said, we need to really, I feel like we say words to people, you're dumb, you're this, you're stupid, and we think it's funny. No, it's not funny, like we have to be sensitive to the words we use. Yeah.
And one of the things is a child that has a signs of dyslexia, when it comes to reading, they will find all excuses. I have headache, I need to go and pee, I need to go and do this. When you start hearing these things, when your child pick a book and they start making those excuses, you have to be like, what is going on here? Then don't waste the time. Early identification is the key, and the intervention it will follow.
I see. That's really beautiful. So we're learning. We're learning. We're parents now. Even if you don't have a child now, I mean, you're going to be a parent in the future, or you're a guardian to a child. So we're looking at if a child picks a book and then they start to give you many excuses, okay, I can't do this, can't do that, or they are constantly being laughed at for not being able to mention the easy things, the regular things, then you should, it's a red flag. And then also, if they have delayed speech, right? I'm actually going through the trouble of listing it so that the parents don't forget.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are things that we're looking at. Did we leave out something?
Yeah. Also, another one is identify, and she said it when it comes to the alphabet. So there is a word on page 1, they see it, fine, they go to page 2, and it's like the same word there, and it's never
They don't mention it.
Yeah. So you see these things, making mistakes within maps, lefts. Like for me, I struggle, especially when I'm driving. You call me and say, hey, when you get there, take left. Immediately you said take left, I'm like, where is? So I have to consciously remind myself, my body, and be like, where is my left? Before I know where my left is and process. So you need to look out for signs. And the signs are many, from the preschool age to the kindergarten age to adulthood. There are different signs. But whilst you are also looking out for those difficulties, pay attention to what they are good at. Because it is within what they are good at is how you're going to base on to provide the intervention for them.
Tell me about that. Okay, so let's say a child is might be dyslexic, because at this point we don't know yet. So they probably want to dodge reading, but they're excited about, let's say, music.
Yeah, so music,
Okay.
I put something here. So music, great imagination, ability to figure things out and get the gist out of some, very detailed oriented, eager to embrace new ideas, a good understanding of new concepts, enjoy solving puzzles, talent building, music, creative in general, maybe
Right.
cooking. Pay attention to those things. They talk, they ask you questions. And you parents will get offended because you, first of all, it's like, you ask so much questions, but why are you not translating it into the books or into your academics? These are their strengths.
Right.
And so we have to be on the lookout for them.
Okay, so be concerned about their strength, right? And what else can we do as interventions? Okay, so I learned the phone lines are opened, and so we can call in and, you know, ask all the questions that you want to ask. Oh, forgive me, I was so engrossed in the conversation. I left you out. But join us on our socials. It's My Dominion TV. You can drop messages, and then you can also call us. Call us right about now. Oh, there's a caller on. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Oh, no, I can't hear you. Right. Josephine? Hi, Josephine. Right. Okay. So, sorry about that, Joseph. But please call again. Let's talk about this. It concerns everybody. So, forgive my. So now we're looking at. Okay, looking at the stress, maybe building it and all of that. What are the interventions? Starting from, this could even be for education, educationists and all of that. But let's start from scratch. Parents, right? Interventions for parents when you realize these things.
So just like we mentioned, if you ruled out auditory, so early intervention, take them, get the eye screen, get the hearing, and all that have been ruled out. Sometimes I feel like parents leave everything to the schools.
We have a caller? Okay. So I'm told we have a caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
We can hear you, please.
Please, my name is Priscilla. I'm calling from Kaswa.
Great, Priscilla. Let's hear you.
Yeah, please, I have a child, a boy, 7 years to 8 years. But he told me that every time that they do exams in the class, he's excellent. But when he comes home and homework and when he can't read, I don't know. Is it that dyslexia or something?
Okay. All right. So don't worry, we'll answer that. So she's concerned about the fact that the child comes home and it's excellent, it's beautiful, 90%, yay. But when he's home, the basic things that you see a brilliant child from school doing, reading, doing homework and all that, is just...
So what is he getting the excellence in?
The courses.
Other aspects. Just
right?
I was smiling because, see, one of the main things we need to understand, dyslexia has nothing to do with intellect. They are not related. A child can be intellectually gifted and still have dyslexia. A child can also be with other additional needs and still have dyslexia. So dyslexia is a specific learning difficulty or difference that affects reading, writing, and spelling.
Right.
It's specific. It's not an intellect. It doesn't affect the child's thinking. So one of the signs that even some teachers could see is that this kid, he's so amazing in all other things. Like, he goes to math class, he might be great. Some might struggle in math as well, but let's say he's good. He goes to visual arts, he's great at it. He's a good communicator, and that's one of the things about them. They have strong vocabulary in terms of listening. So as much as they're struggling with the reading, when you read the story to them, they are fine because they don't have to put in the stress to read it. So if they're listening to a story, it's fine. It's just them. So what she's saying, it could be that he's struggling with the reading, and it's just the reading. All other subjects, he finds them not as difficult as with the reading.
Right.
So it's for her, and one of the things parents can do is they need to collaborate with the school. Go to the school. Okay, I get that my kid is excellent in all of this, but when he comes home, these are the things that I'm saying. He's struggling with his reading. So how is he at school with his reading?
Okay.
These are the red flags within the classroom and even at home. How is he following direction? Going back to the memory shelf. If she gives him multiple direction, is he able to follow? Is he so forgetful that she tells him something the next second he's quickly forgotten it? Or even sometimes he has to remember some key dates. This, as they get older, remembering phone numbers, they mix up that you would be swapping the digits, mixing them. So she should communicate with the school. If dyslexia doesn't mean he's not great at other things. He has amazing strength. It's specific to the reading, the writing, and the spelling. So talk to the school. And then she can go from there.
All right, so Priscilla, there you have it. You have to go to the school now and try to find out how your child is able to, go through all of these things. Maybe you should take a day and just spend time, look at how he relates, how he's able to pick up in class, how he's able to relate to instructions and all of that. Then we can start to draw the, conclusion. But for now, just be
But the challenge here
positive.
is that she goes to the school and speak to them, and the school also have no clue of what learning difficulties are.
And that is a big issue.
And that is where, for us at Africa Dyslexia Organization, we're saying the school should invest in training their educators and giving them resources.
That we have a caller.
Okay.
Hello, Vera. Okay, so that was Vera. Vera, please try again. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, so they should invest in training their teachers and resourcing them so their teachers can perform basic things like screening.
Okay.
They can do individualized education plan. Once they are trained, they will be able to support their kids. But if Priscilla go to the school and they have no clue of all these things, they will say there is nothing wrong. The child will pick up. Or maybe when the child comes to class, this particular subject, he doesn't pay attention. This is what is going to happen.
Right.
Yes.
And just adding to Rosalind, this is where parents need to empower themselves. And I always say parents are the most advocates they can be to their kid.
Right.
If the school doesn't know, empower yourself and go teach them.
How do they empower themselves? These are parents who are bothered with work because, if I have to pay the bill for you to go to school, thank God for internet. You would say we should use that, right? But how? Where do we go? How do we search? How do we know what's... There's a caller, Annabelle. Morning, Annabelle.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I'm so glad I've got you. Please talk to us.
Okay, I have a question about 10 years son of mine. He's good at school. When it comes to cartoons or movies that he watches, he's able to keep every detail, the characters, the role they play. So I could see that he's good. But when it comes to, let's say, basic house chores or normal morning routine before he goes to school, he's always creating a mess. You need to always be correcting him, repeating every day the same thing that he has to do in the morning. So I would like to know, is there any problem with him as well, or is there let's say, it's a kind of character that he needs to work on?
You have any question to ask her further so that we can fully understand?
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, great. So, Annabelle, thank you very much for that call. Annabelle talks about how great the child is in school, but and with movies.
Yeah. So sometimes they have strong interest in different areas. So with him, it's cartoons, and maybe he might come up with a graphic novel. He would be a great cartoonist. Who knows?
Right.
But one thing she mentioned is just like all these, we said dyslexia is specific learning difficulty. So it's an umbrella term for different like different difficulties.
Okay.
So while she's talking, so a child can have just dyslexia, and there are other conditions like ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which for some kids it might be a co-occurrence with it. They go together with it. And then we have other dyscalculia, which has to be difficulty with math. We have other dysgraphia, which has to be writing fine motor. His writing will be like a mess, like he writes. So with what she's saying, he's amazing at school. But one of the things we didn't say about dyslexia is also organizational skills. It also affects working memory again, organizational skills, understanding of the concept of time. So you tell your child, we have 5 minutes to leave.
And I think that we have half a minute to pick Mustafa's call. Okay. Good morning, Mustafa.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, great. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I have a dyslexic child. Hopefully, she has been able to finish what you call senior HS. But the difficulties have been through. It's not an easy thing. I would like to thank Rosalind and then Joy Thomas for helping me going through all this type of thing. But I like to draw attention to Rosalind. I think now, because of dyslexic, everybody who goes to a short course, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the person starts telling you that it's a dyslexic. For personal experience, I've gone through 1 or 2 people in that. So I'll just let through the organization and the other aspects they should try and streamline this thing. Because I think it looks like some past are trying to take advantage of the whole thing.
Right.
Because of especially. And the person who just had a certificate or this short course, maybe 2 or 3 weeks short course, then you all of a sudden start receiving messages, especially that he's an expert in this thing, an expert in that, a whole lot of this thing. I would like to thank them. But sometimes, some of us, especially with the parents, especially the what you call the difficulties have been through, especially when she entered the SS. It wasn't an easy thing at all. Almost every week I have to be at the school to check. Some of the teachers will cooperate, the others will not cooperate. So when she was writing the final exams, it was just terrible. I was just like an invigilator, which I thought maybe the Minister of Education or Social Education could help.
Right.
But in fact, the help wasn't coming. I have to be an advocate. I have to go to the school to teach the school authorities, to teach the teachers. Even what is dyslexia, they don't even know. It wasn't an easy thing at all.
Wow. It's coming from you, so that they will not say, okay, this is Rosalind's, all of that, even though you're connected to Rosalind and all that. But I'm happy that you can share that thought with us, right? So Mustafa is talking about a bigger picture, something that we've been talking about, education system, the Ministry of Education get to, because if he didn't know that much, he wouldn't have been present even in the exam hall to help his child. And that's a big thing. Well, thank you very much, Mustafa, for that. I really appreciate that. You were saying before we...
So just back to the lady who called before. So there are other... So it's not just dyslexia. There may be other co-occurring conditions in addition to dyslexia. So organization is one key thing that they find difficult. So you can tell your child, oh, you have 5 minutes and we have to leave. The understanding, how long is 5 minutes? What's 5 minutes? So you may be, oh, now we're late, let's rush. So it could be one of the things that helps. So he may not be dyslexic. It could be other conditions, or it might just be that he needs support just being able to organize himself. Because sometimes we assume that, oh, they will learn. But no, some kids need to be explicitly taught. Just like when you're learning to drive, you don't just take a car and start driving. You have to be taught. So it could be that for some kids, you have a checklist.
Right.
That, okay, in the morning when you wake up, you brush your teeth, you put on your school bag, you go get your lunch from the kitchen. So it's routine. kids, we all thrive on routine. So maybe she has to set a good routine in the house so that he knows that when I come back from school, my bag has to be here. I have to go shower, eat my food, do my homework. So establish routines. Exactly.
So, and I think this should also go for other parents, right? You should have good routine and be able to check. You should be, Bible says, be diligent to know the state of your flock. And your child is your first flock.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you're going to have routine, start off with the children and also be diligent to know if they're doing right by it or not. Right? I love this, but we've overrun. We've eaten so much. We have to come back. We have to do this because parents need to learn. I mean, people in society need to learn. I mean, some people give birth and then the rest is for the community to take care of. So that's it. But thank you so much.